Hey ninjas, welcome back. Today we are going to learn about arrow function and callbacks in JavaScript. Let's begin with arrow function. Now, as you know, we normally write a function in JavaScript using the regular function keyword, like this. This is the normal way we've been writing functions so far. But in the case of arrow functions, the syntax is a bit different and shorter. Instead of writing function add parameters, we simply remove the function keyword and the function name. Then, we just write the parameters, followed by an arrow symbol equals, and then our code inside curly braces, just like we used to write in a normal function. After that, we can store this arrow function in a variable. This is not compulsory, but normally we do this so we can reuse the function easily. And there are a few rules about arrow functions in JavaScript. One rule is that if we have only one statement inside an arrow function, we can remove the curly braces. This works perfectly fine, just like a normal function. However, if there are multiple statements inside the function, then the curly braces are compulsory, and we also need to use the return keyword if we want to return a value. As you can see here, we have placed all the statements inside curly braces because the function has more than one line of code. And arrow functions are often used with array methods like map, filter, and forEach, because they make the code shorter and cleaner. Let's see one example of an array method using an arrow function. As you can see here, this arrow function goes through each number, doubles it, and returns a new array all in one simple line. And finally, this is very important, arrow functions do not have their ownness, which behaves differently from normal functions. Let's see what this means. In JavaScript, this normally depends on how a function is called. As you can see, here, we have an object person with a property name and a method greet. Inside the greet function, this refers to the object that owns it, in this case, the person object. So when we call person.greet, this .name becomes Alice. And it prints, hello, my name is Alice. That works perfectly fine because this is pointing to the person object. But now, let's see an example what happens if we use a normal function inside another function, like with setTimeout. Now, you might expect it to print, hello, my name is Alice. But it doesn't. Instead, it prints, hello, my name is undefined. This happens because here, this no longer refers to the person object. Inside setTimeout, the normal function is not called by the object. It's just called by the JavaScript engine itself. So, in this case, this points to the global object, or undefined in strict mode. That's why it couldn't find this .name, it doesn't belong to the global object. In this type of case, we can use an arrow function because arrow functions do not have their ownness. They automatically use this from the surrounding scope. As you can see here, now it prints, hello, my name is Alice, correctly. The arrow function automatically takes this from the parent function. That's why arrow functions are very useful in callbacks, event handlers, and timers. We don't lose the reference to this. So yeah, this is all about arrow functions. They are mostly used in array methods, callbacks, event handlers, and places where we want to write short and clean code without worrying about this. Next, let's move on to the concept of callback functions and explore in detail how they work. A callback function is basically a function that we pass as an argument to another function and is executed after some operation is completed. So this is the basic syntax of a callback function. We normally pass one function inside another function as a parameter, and then call it inside that function using parentheses. This helps us control when a function should run, especially when one task needs to happen after another. In simple terms, a callback lets us decide the order of execution of functions. Now, let's look at an example to make it even clearer. Here in this example, greetUser is a function that takes two parameters, name and callback. It first prints hello plus the name. Then it calls callback, which runs the function we passed in. SayBye is a simple function that prints goodbye. When we run greetUser, Alice, SayBye, it prints, hello Alice, goodbye. So here, SayBye is the callback function because it's passed into greetUser and executed from inside it. Now, let's see another example using asynchronous tasks so that you can understand in more detail how callbacks work. As the definition says, a callback is passed as an argument and executed later. In this example, displayData is the callback function. We pass it as an argument to the getData function. Inside getData, the program starts fetching data, simulated with setTimeout, and does not execute display data immediately. As you see here in this example, the setTimeout function waits 3 seconds, simulating an asynchronous task. After the task is done, it calls back the displayData function and passes the data to it, and finally, displayData executes and prints. So ninjas, this is all about callback functions. Basically, callbacks allow your program to run tasks asynchronously or after certain events without blocking other code. Now head to JavaScript Ninjas and practice this 5 simple question until you feel comfortable with it. Now see you in the next lesson.